Hello, it's Loren. I'm back at Tanglewood. It's wonderful to be back here. A tiny bit stressful right now, with a lot of things going on as we hustle towards opening tomorrow. We have a full session as usual. Actually, this is fuller than usual. Turns out my office dropped the ball a little bit. We overbooked. We're now building rooms to accommodate more people. But it's as always, every time we closed over the last 6 years now, we've been busy with renovations and construction, etc. There's always projects here. When I got here, this place was so ugly. The first 2 times I saw it, I thought, there's no way I could ever live there. And we've now created something that's incredibly beautiful and functional, etc. So for some reason, again, I'm looking at this because I'm not seeing chat. There we go. Is it cold to fast in January? Not in Tanglewood. It's not. We're in the tropics. I'm in short sleeves, flip-flops every day of the year. In fact, this is our dry season, which means it's sunny most of the day, every day. And so there's no cold weather here. Anyway, glad to be back. William, good to see you. Looking healthy. Well, thank you. I'm recovering from an intense lecture tour. 6 weeks on the road, not unusual. Hey, Carrie, how are you? It's typical for me to go that long, but this one was a little crazy because often what happens is, in the summer, I'll go to Europe and I'll be there for 6 weeks and I'll go from one country to the next. If you're from the US, that's like going from one state to the next. It's not a big deal. The travel's not so intense. This particular tour, I passed through Spain on my way to Israel, spent time in Israel, then went to Stockholm, Sweden, where it was 6 below zero, which was the coldest weather I've seen in a long time. I'm now coming up on 15 years living in the tropics, and that was cold for me. I mean, I was fine with it. I don't have a problem with the cold. I just don't like it very much. Needing to wear several layers and a coat and shoes and socks every day and long pants. No, thank you. I much prefer to be here in the tropics. But I went from Stockholm to Miami, and then from Miami all the way down to Argentina, spoke in 2 cities in Argentina, and arrived home just a couple of days ago. I got home Monday night, Monday afternoon. I got back to Costa Rica. Spent the night in San Jose near the airport, ran a bunch of errands all day. Tuesday, drove back here, got back here at 10 o'clock or something on Tuesday night. And I don't know about you, but I'm tall enough, 6 feet, 182 centimeters, that sleeping in a coach airplane seat is pretty much impossible. And so I got back here. It's a long trip. I mean, it was nearly 18 hours, I think, with layover to get back here, something like that. Still catching up on sleep. I've been up late every night trying to catch up on things and making my first call at 5:30 every morning. So anyway, I'm back. I'm glad to see you all. I'm gonna scroll up here and see who's here and what people have to say. Radust Dinkova, I have a lot of sulfur in the body. Does water fast detox that? Yes, your virtually infinitely intelligent body will eliminate almost anything that doesn't belong there if you give it the right opportunity and conditions. And that means you have to know what you're doing. You have to do it properly. Unfortunately, most people fasting do not know what they're doing when they do this on their own and don't get nearly the same results. And I know this because over nearly 23 years now that I've run Tanglewood and have fasted many thousands of people, probably at least half of the people who come here tried fasting on their own. They all say the same thing, which is it wasn't nearly as powerful on my own as it was when I was, with you here at Tanglewood. It's always the same thing. Grow love, earth is still and level. Okay. Well, not so sure about that, but frankly, I couldn't give a shit. It doesn't make any difference to me whether we're on a globe or we're on a flat plane. What I care about is how I interact with other human beings and that starts with how I interact with myself. So it starts by by loving myself enough to take good care of myself. And when I can create unconditional love for myself, that love naturally spreads outward to everybody in my environment. Whether we're on a spinning globe or we're on a flat plane or not that never moves, I don't really know. I haven't seen any compelling evidence to suggest that we're not on a globe, and lots of compelling evidence to suggest that we are. And I've seen quite a bit, and I'm not really interested. So this isn't a good place to push that agenda because I don't really care. Okay, I hope that's clear. Light is making it hard to read. William says, the tropics sound great. The tropics are great. We're tropical animals. In case this isn't clear to anybody here, you can live anywhere. And many of you are tuning in from places that are quite cold right now toward the end of December. And you've got on multiple layers of clothing and you're in a building which is heated. And here, I'm in a building, but I've got a big open door here. And I've got a door here which I've closed because they're cutting some metal roofing. Not this moment, but maybe I'll open the door again. But it could be any moment again. They start cutting, and we're going to hear the loud noise of the saw. So I might close the French doors again. Here we're pretty much always open to fresh air. We need if you choose to live somewhere outside of the tropics, you're creating a tropical microclimate right here in the center of your torso, because we can only exist in tropical climates as tropical animals. So we create that tropical microclimate. Here, you could be naked 12 months of the year if you wanted to. Okay. Tommy says, I got a couple questions if you can answer. Perhaps you can ask. I won't get to all the questions, but you're welcome to ask here. Jerry says, hi, Loren. So happy to be able to talk to you again. Hope you had a great time in Argentina and Israel. I did, and Stockholm and Miami. It was all good. William, yep, it was cold. Jerry says, I had a question. Knowing the dangers of unsupervised fasting for longer periods of time, when you first started fasting, how were you able to do long fasts safely? Well, I wasn't. I wasn't doing them safely. I was doing them unsafely because I didn't know any better. And to be fair about this, I'm sure I could have done more research. I was never particularly good when I was younger at research. There were tools available in the library that I never really used very well. Today, we don't really need those tools so much because we have search engines. And so, not that, I understand things are hidden and things may not always be so obvious, but the simple fact is it's much easier to find information today. And so when I began fasting 33 years ago, and we had no internet, and there was no Google, and there was no YouTube, and there was no Facebook, I was on my own. I had a book by a guy who'd been dead for 65 years or so, and I didn't know there were places. I didn't know there were people out there that understood this process. So what I did was I started with 2 days, and then when I survived that, because I really didn't know if I could, then I went 4 days, and then I went 8 days, and then I went 12 days, and I worked my way up, and I made all kinds of mistakes. And the learning curve, it took me a long time to figure out how to do this correctly. And I survived. And most people will survive if they fast on their own, but they're in many cases harming themselves, and I may have harmed myself too in various ways. And in virtually every case, they're not coming close to getting the same benefits that they could get if they did it properly. So, years ago, I had a friend who grew up skiing. And so we went skiing together, a bunch of friends. They all knew how to ski. I'd never been on skis before. And I'm like, well, they said, it's not that big a deal. It's not hard, right? Well, they'd grown up doing it. So I rented some skis. I strapped them on. I go down the slope. I had no idea what I was doing. I made my way down the mountain. I survived the process. I made all kinds of mistakes. I probably hurt myself that day in various ways, not terribly, but I bruised myself more than I needed to, and I learned bad habits. Okay, I figured out how to get down the mountain, but I was doing it in ways that weren't really very, very good, very effective, and so I continued doing that. And it wasn't until my 6th or 7th time fasting I thought maybe I should take a lesson. And it was amazing, the difference, because I had someone guiding me through this process that I wasn't personally familiar with. Okay. And it's no different. Fasting is a natural process, but how much experience do you have fasting? Did you grow up with fasting? Are there people in your family fasting, people in your culture? I don't mean for 12 hours during Ramadan. I don't mean for one day for Yom Kippur. I'm talking about for, 3 to 4 weeks, as is typical here, which is where we see the amazing benefits. The reason we keep doing that, it's not because it's the easiest thing. It's not because it's the most lucrative thing. The most lucrative thing for me would be to have people coming for 1 week at a time. There'd be no danger because nothing happens in a week. There'd be no risk. We charge the most for the shortest stays. If this was about making money, that's what we'd be doing. We'd be discouraging longer fasts, encouraging more people to come for shorter times. There'd be no risk ever. It'd be no danger. It'd be the easiest thing in the world for me, and we'd make more money. But we're encouraging people to do longer fasts because that's where we see the amazing, miraculous things occur. They simply don't happen on these shorter fasts. Okay, and I want to get into some other things where they don't happen. I'm going to go back through the comments and questions, but at some point I might cut it off, and because there's some things I want to share, and I know sometimes there's so many comments I never get a chance to say anything except for responding to your comments and questions. Let me see here. Where were we? Is that a JLRU? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what I'm seeing here. Now I see it. Your skin is plump and rosy and soft. I was too ignorant to see. Okay. I'm not, if you were someone who commented that I looked old, etc. before, I never have. I mean, anyone who knows me thinks I look quite good for my age. I think the truth is, if I shaved off the gray on my face, I'd look a lot younger. But frankly, you know what? I don't care what you think. Okay, I like a beard. I don't care if it makes me look older. It doesn't make any difference to me. People who know me look at me and look at my energy. I mean, look at the comments on some of the videos from Israel, for instance, the clips that went up, and people that were there were like, saying things like, "Oh my God, he looks amazing." Okay, and I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you, this is what I hear over and over again. The people who say I look old, either they're people that don't know what health actually looks like, right? Look at people my age, and typically they've got big bags under their eyes. You'll see these lines here. They have permanent wrinkles. Yes, you can see crow's feet if I smile when I do this. You can see lines on my forehead if I move my eyebrows. But people have them all the time. Okay, where I don't. My skin is soft and supple. I smell good, etc., etc. Anyway, we're going to leave that alone. Again, whatever you think is okay. It's okay with me. But I'm clear that most of those comments are trolls who are looking to justify their own poor choices. They're attacking every vegan and raw vegan because they need to prop themselves up to feel good about what they're doing. If you're healthy and you're eating animal products, that's great. I'll promise you, unfortunately, that's not going to last. You're not going to be able to maintain health that way because our digestive physiology is completely different from that of animals and the animals. And this is probably already obvious to most of the people here, so I'm not going to spend too much more time talking about it. All right, let's see. Carrie says, I just lost you. Cold weather is a pain. Well, it's not that much fun, that's for sure. You have to spend more time getting dressed and being more careful of what you wear, et cetera, et cetera. I was walking around Stockholm every day. I stayed with a friend who organized events there. We had no car necessary, but we spent a lot of time outside. And I'm okay with it. I tolerate the cold perfectly fine. It's just not my preference. I'd rather have my bare skin exposed to the air and sunlight, which it was the weirdest thing in Stockholm a couple of weeks ago. It looked like it was 7 o'clock at night all the time, twilight all the time. It never got light out. It was always kind of dark. It felt weird. And I can't even imagine people. I understand why they have such high rates of depression, suicide, alcoholism, drug abuse, because we need sunlight. And personally, I'll never live in a place again where we don't have ample sunlight every season. Not every day. Some days it rains all day here, but that's rare. Most days it's sunny, at least for several hours. Judy says, good morning, Loren. Great to see you back. How's the book coming along? Book, unfortunately, is not coming along at all right now because I've been so busy with travels and other things. Why can't I drink distilled water? It's so delicious and clean. Well, it's not delicious. It has no taste, actually. It should have no taste because there's nothing in there to give it any flavor. Water itself doesn't have a flavor. And clean, yes, it's clean. Oxygen, we need oxygen, right? Do you want to breathe pure oxygen? You do not, okay? What we need is what's natural for our bodies, and distilled water is not natural. And don't think you're getting science from websites of people who promote drinking distilled water. That's not science, okay? That's someone's uneducated opinion. Rain is not distilled water. Okay, water precipitates around a solid molecule only out of the air. Okay, it has to encounter something solid. So dew occurs when it precipitates out because the water vapor hits a solid object, a leaf, for instance, or your car, whatever it might be. But rain clouds don't form without there being something solid. So rain always contains dust, pollen, pollutants, minerals, one of those things, okay, or all of them. There's no such thing as distilled precipitation. It doesn't happen. Rain is not distilled water. It just doesn't happen. Johnny Boy, thank you very much. I see here, I completely forgot that we have this now, but we've done something where we're making it possible for people to show their appreciation by donating to the cause. And this is something I'm gonna leave the questions for a minute. So Johnny Boy, thank you very much. Johnny Boy has made a donation. I appreciate that, of $2. It may not sound like a lot of money, but it helps. I mean, imagine if everybody watching my videos, we have millions of views. I mean, each video has thousands of views, but imagine if everyone did that. It would help us tremendously. And frankly, right now, we're needing some help. And I'm not asking you to donate money. You can, if that feels good to you. We'd certainly appreciate that. But let me explain what happened. Tanglewood is busy. We stay full. We're busier than ever, and it's all good. That's great. We've been investing everything into here and into this larger project. And I'd actually been stockpiling some cash because I have a bunch of contracts we have to move forward on. We have to now start paying out some serious money, not just the smaller amounts of money to option payments. We actually have larger payments coming due. I had quite a bit of money sitting in our PayPal account, and PayPal, unceremoniously, they sent me an email one day, and they said, we noticed that you're operating outside of our parameters and policies. And they wouldn't say how that's the case, but they said you're outside of our parameters and policies, and so we're permanently closing your account. It's not negotiable. There's no one you can talk to about this. Your account is closed forever, and we're going to get you your money in 6 months. And we had almost all of our money sitting in that account, including quite a bit of money I needed to pay on these real estate contracts. We now have no access to any of it. In the meantime, we initiated a whole bunch of projects here because we were overbooked. We've just built 8 small cottages. We've built, we're taking our laundry room from 6 square meters to 21.5 square meters. That's 215 square feet from being considerably smaller than that. And it's a 3-story building. So that's the whole thing is now 3 times what it was. That's a significant investment. We've taken another space, a beautiful room, and that didn't have a bathroom. And we added a patio and bathrooms, so that a bathroom, it's actually 2 pieces. One piece is toilet and sink, and the other piece is shower, in 2 separate rooms, so that we can put guests in there because we're that full and busy. The problem is right now is that we don't have the money to pay our bills because all of this cash has disappeared. And I mean, it's still sitting in the account, but I can't touch it. And in 5.5 months, they're going to get it back to us. So in the meantime, we're struggling a little bit. I'm struggling to sleep a little bit with the stress because we've got all these promises to people, and it's difficult right now to do what we need to do. So anyway, thank you, Johnny Boy. And just so everyone knows this is something that's now available. If you believe that this is valuable to you, that what I'm doing here is useful to you, and you want to contribute to the cause, that's very much appreciated. Something else, though, you might have, if you're as, I know, I recognize many of you here, and many of you I know are here every week. And if you're not here every week, if you're new to this, then I'm normally here every Friday morning at 9 o'clock Costa Rica time. However, when traveling, that's sometimes difficult. And on this last trip, it just didn't work. 9 o'clock Costa Rica time was something like 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon in Israel, and an hour earlier, whatever it was, in Sweden. And then I had a very quick trip stop in Miami, and was in 2 weekends in Argentina, but busy with events all weekend. And so I haven't been live now in 6 or 7 weeks, ever since we closed. We closed on Saturday. I think it was the 6th of November, and we closed. I was live, I think, that Friday and Saturday. On Sunday, I took off for Israel, and I just got back a few days ago. And so I haven't been here for a while. For those of you that have been around, but I will be here every week for the next 10 weeks. For those of you that have been around, you know that our rates went up a month or two ago. And there was a period of time where I was offering a discount for people that knew they were coming and wanted to, could pay in full. Well, right now, because we're needing to raise some money, we're again offering a discount. So if you miss that opportunity, you have another one now. What you need to do is make full payment by next Friday, a week from today, by the end of the day. So I'll mention it again on next week's live. And if you can make full payment, what you want to do is email me, Loren@tanglewoodwellnesscenter.com, and I will get you a payment request, because on our website you can only make the normal payment amounts. But here's what we're offering. If you pay in full by next Friday, you can save 15% off of our rates, and that's huge. That's something we haven't done in a long, long time. Frankly, we haven't needed to, and now we do. We really need your help and support. So if you know that you're coming anyway, this is an opportunity for you to save some money, okay? If you can't make payment by this coming Friday, a week from today, you could make it by the week after and save 10%. Okay, but it has to be done by that Friday to be fair to everybody else. Okay, and if you can't make full payment, then you can make any payment, and I'll give you 10% credit, 10% more credit than what you've paid. So if you want to lock our rates in, it's a $900 deposit. But if you send $900, I'll credit you with having paid $1,000. Okay, it's actually more than 10% more. Okay, I'm going to work it backwards. So you'll have credit for 1,000 even though you've only paid 900, and that means you're reducing the amount you have to pay that way. Okay, by a little more than 10%. So I hope that's clear. I hope this is useful to you. I'm confident that we're going to be okay, because we always have been. But right now it's been a bit of a struggle. And this week, we have a lot to pay out with. We have a lot of contractors working here today and tomorrow. We've been here for the last 6 weeks, but right now there's a lot of materials coming in. We have 2 new bathrooms that need hot water heaters, and those aren't cheap. There's a lot of things like that. So don't get me wrong. I live in a beautiful place. I have high quality food. I live in an amazing climate. I'm surrounded by people that appreciate what I'm doing, and life is good. And it's a little stressful because we have a bunch of payments we have to make, and we want to keep moving our big project forward. So it's all going to work out fine. Ultimately, we won't have lost the money. We just have a cash flow issue right now. All right. So I wanted to share that. Let me go back to the comments here. What's my favorite fruit? Well, that's a really difficult question to answer, because I love so many kinds of fruit. We've got 125 varieties of fruit growing on site here, and are planning on planting as many as we can find. We will be closing on another piece of land, a bank loan we've been waiting for, which will also help. Should have been a year ago. Now, unfortunately, the government offices close in the next couple days. So we're waiting for a document on this piece of land. The owner thought she had a current survey. There was a problem with the survey, and it had to be redone. But the bank won't fund it until they have this piece of paper from the government that says it's all approved and recorded, this new document, this new survey. If it doesn't get done in the next day or two, I think by Monday, then it's not going to happen, because they close on the 24th and they don't open again until after New Year's, which means we're now waiting until January. But as soon as that happens, we will take possession to 27 acres next door, 11 hectares next door, much of which, probably 70% of which, is pasture, is grass. So the forest we'll leave alone, but the grass, we've got space there to plant around 7,000 fruit trees, something like that. And so we're going to continue planting as many trees as we possibly can. We won't plant anything now. It won't be now, it'll be until May again when it starts raining. Between now and May, it's not going to rain hardly at all, not enough to be planting anything. If we plant anything now, we'll have to irrigate it, water it all the time. So we're going to wait until May when it starts raining every day. But it's coming up soon. So coming back to the fruits question, if I had to pick one fruit, that's a different question. Let's say you can only pick one to live on for the rest of your life, it would be watermelon. Hands down, no question about it. It's the one thing my body's happy to have every single day. And in the 14 and a half years I've lived here in the tropics, I probably eat watermelon 5 times a week when I'm here. Papaya is probably number 2 for me. I love mangoes. I love durian. I love jackfruit. I love champadak. There's so many fruits that I love, so many incredible things that I love. But most of those things are not things I'd want to eat every day. In mango season, I remember when I first moved here, I thought, why would I eat anything besides mangoes when I've got mangoes available? During mango season, I'll eat just mangoes. And what happened was, the first day I had lots of mangoes, and the next day I had some mangoes, and the third day my body said it doesn't really want mangoes. It wants something else. I love mangoes, but I don't want to eat them every single day. Watermelon, I can eat every single day. Okay, but there's so many types of fruit that I love. It's an impossible question to answer, really. Kevin says, you look fit. I am fit, Kevin. I'm very strong and very fit. I can easily support my body weight. I can easily, knock off quite a few push-ups, et cetera, et cetera. I am healthy and fit and quite strong for my size, because I'm 150 pounds and 6 feet tall, but it's almost all muscle because there's not much body fat. Danielle says, good morning. The water for the fasting will be alkaline. No, not necessarily, Danielle, but alkaline water is a scam. It's nonsense. Look, oranges have a pH of around 3 to 3.5. Okay, very acidic, right? I mean, neutral 7. Anything below 7 is acid. Oranges are acidic. So are apples. So are grapes. So are mangoes. So are most of the fruits that we eat. Most of the fruits we eat have a pH below 7, and yet they all make our bodies more alkaline. Okay, we don't need to consume something alkaline to make the body more alkaline. Consuming something that has acidic pH doesn't make the body more acidic. It depends on how the body interacts with it. Okay, our water is perfect spring water. It's amazing spring water from right here, and it tastes amazing. It contains the minerals that we need to have. Going back to the still water question, we need those minerals in water. Okay, 25 million species drink the water in nature. They're not using distillers, and they're perfectly healthy. We need those minerals to be there, not because that's how we get our minerals, but because without having those minerals present in water, water doesn't conduct electricity, which we run on. And we're losing electrolytes when we drink distilled water without the electrolytes we need, okay? Because distilled water is negatively charged. It's going to grab anything positively charged, and 5 of the body's primary electrolytes are positively charged. 4. I think it's 4. Magnesium, potassium, sodium, calcium. There's actually one more. It's 5. 5 of the primary electrolytes are positively charged. They're going to be taken by distilled water. So we don't need to drink alkaline water. And I wouldn't recommend drinking water that's particularly highly alkaline, because Bases burn more than acids, okay? So if you think it would be harmful to drink something acidic, which, by the way, if you've ever drank orange juice, it's quite acidic. Apple juice is quite acidic. Almost all fruit juices are very acidic. That's not a problem, okay? The pH isn't an issue. This is not well understood, but there's a bunch of hype by people who sell machines that alkalize water. We don't ever need that. The healthiest water is going to be between pH 6 and 8. That's where most spring water falls, is between 6 and 8. That's perfect. More alkaline than 8, we don't need. Our water tends to be right around 7. Sometimes it's a little less. Sometimes it's a little more. It's always changing in nature, depending on the percentage of nutrients and minerals in the water. But we don't ever have to think about that. Okay? Rakam says, Loren, can I heal my teeth if it has a big a tooth, I guess, if it has a big hole in it, because I don't want to remove my root canal? No. If you have a root canal, so I'm not sure. It looks like English isn't your first language, and so I'm not sure exactly what you mean. But if you have a root canal already, okay. First of all, if you're not familiar with root canals, a root canal is where the tooth is dead, and they take the root out, and they fill the space, and they leave the tooth. Okay, and the tooth is sitting with no root above this filled space. Unfortunately, what happens is you wind up with bacteria underneath the tooth, and it's potentially very, very dangerous. I would never, ever recommend a root canal. And if you have a root canal, you want to have it removed. And that means they take the tooth out, they take this material out, they clean it out, and you leave a hole there. Okay? That's much better than having this artificial process. I mean, it's dangerous to the body. I would never, ever recommend a root canal. You don't get one, and if you have one, have it reversed, have it taken out. Okay, if the tooth is dead, it's never going to heal. Okay, if it's got no root, it's not going to heal. Teeth can heal. They heal slowly. It's happened to me, but it can happen. Okay, like bone, it can happen. They can heal. It's not going to happen in one fast necessarily, but again, if you've got a dead tooth that has no root, it's never going to heal. Okay. Hi, Loren, can you speak on gum regrowth from fasting? Sure. There's not so much to say except that your body heals itself, and gums are no different. And so your gums, now, if you have significantly receded gums, you're not necessarily ever going to see that back to where it should have been, but it should improve if you fast long enough and properly. And if you continue making excellent choices afterwards, there's no reason. I mean, your gums aren't different than your arm or your eye, your kidneys or your pancreas or your liver. All of these things can heal. Your gums can heal too. Okay, they just need the right conditions and opportunity. It doesn't happen for most people because most people's bodies are too toxic, too dehydrated, too poorly functioning to do anything very well, including heal. All right. Let's see. Thank you for your comment. Let's see. Incessant go-to. Are you familiar with a study out of South Africa showing whites have less oxalate dissolving bacteria in their gut than blacks, making them less suited for veganism? No, and I don't believe it anyway. I mean, I haven't seen the study, so I can't comment on the study. But the fact that we have less oxalate dissolving bacteria in our gut doesn't make us less suited for a vegan diet. I've worked with more than 10,000 people, probably more than 11,000 now, and every single person who gets their body clean thrives on a raw vegan diet. And I mean, there has not been one exception, not one. Okay, so it's entirely possible that, like most studies, they don't really know what they're talking about. They're not interpreting the data properly. It's also possible that if there is less oxalate dissolving bacteria in the gut, as you say this study claims that there is, that's because of the way people eat, and that can return to a healthy balance when we get the body clean and well functioning. This is nearly always what we see happening. The issues that people have, again, I'm not talking about this particular issue, but in general, people, but this is the condition. That's the condition of the average body with the average crap diet. Get the body clean and well functioning, and amazing things happen virtually every time. Okay, so I wouldn't give that study any significance whatsoever. I guarantee anyone, if they're willing to follow simple coaching and fast properly, after they're done, they will thrive on a raw vegan diet. They will thrive on a raw vegan diet. No one needs animal products. Animal products mean higher rates of cancer, heart disease. We're destroying the circulatory system. We're creating lower GI tract problems. We're destroying our brains. Okay, the research is now clear. The more animal products we eat, the more brain damage we wind up with, the higher the rates of dementia in later life. No one needs animal products. So I wouldn't give that study any credence whatsoever. I mean, I haven't looked at it, but I can tell you, first of all, and there are now very well-known scientists saying we can no longer believe most of the research that's published because it's all commercially driven. Okay, the majority of it is commercially driven. Not all, but the majority of it's commercially driven, which means there's a commercial interest paying for it. If they can't find a way to say what they're hoping to say, the study never gets published. You never hear about it. Okay, so studies that are being published and put out to the public, in most cases, that's happening because an interest is making that happen. All right, you want to be clear about this. You can't believe everything you read. All right, Laura says, what do you think about the vegan sunken eye phenomenon? A more visible, wider upper eyelid, which makes it seem that the person is sleepy. I can notice you also have it. Why do you think it happens? A more visible, wider upper eyelid, which makes it seem that the person is sleepy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. Do I look sleepy to you? Maybe it's because I'm way behind on sleep. Maybe that's why I look sleepy, because I'm going to bed at 11 or 12 o'clock at night and waking up at 5 to start making calls with my clients. And this, by the way, is something I've done every day for the last 12 years plus. I've worked the same crazy hours now for 20 years. I mean, it's not like I'm complaining, because I love what I do. I have these calls with people. I got a message from someone yesterday, actually my client's wife. Let me see if I can find this comment here. Where was that? I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it, because I don't remember. It's gotten more complicated with so many different channels now, right? I mean, I'm getting comments here. Hang on, there it was. Oh, I lost it. So my client's wife sent me this message. She said, I feel so comforted to know that you're here for Dale during his fast. Your wisdom and presence are truly and immeasurably a gift. Okay, and so honestly, I have messages like this on a regular basis. The people I work with are so grateful in most cases. And this is why I love what I do. I continue doing what I'm doing because we see amazing results. We see things that medicine and science say are miracles. We see them happening all the time. So I don't know. I've never heard of this phenomenon. I've never noticed it. I wouldn't say vegans look more sleepy than anybody else. Most people not only look, but sound and feel like they're going through life half asleep. I've got tons of energy and I'm wide awake, although I need more sleep right now. So I don't know what else to say about that. Let's see here. Johnny Boy has a question here. Can fasting reverse heart disease, and how long? Yes, we've actually had amazing success with heart disease, and it depends, of course, on how far advanced it is and what's happened. There are cases where people, no matter what the condition is, if it's far enough advanced, it may be too late to reverse it. Now, I would never say to someone, "Oh, this is too far along, you can't reverse it." What I'll sometimes say to someone is, "Okay, you've got stage 4 cancer. Most people die from this. It's possible. It may be possible to survive this. I don't know, but it's going to be important for you to do everything you can as well as you possibly can, right? In order to give your body the best possible chance to heal." There's that saw cutting metal roofing. I don't know if you can hear that or not. So, Johnny Boy, it is entirely possible for the body to heal heart disease, and it often heals. but every case is different. It just depends on what's going on. In most cases with heart disease, we're looking at a minimum fast of 21 days. In some cases, longer is going to be even better. It's going to be more effective to fast more than 21 days. Our average fast here is 26 days. So we're fasting people 21, 26, 30, 35, 40 days and beyond all the time. All right. I hope that helps. Kevin says, is it true that a water fast no more than 7 days is not dangerous and doesn't need to be supervised at all costs? No, that's not true. What's true, Kevin, is that, going 7 days for most people is not very dangerous unless you make really, really bad choices. There's not so much danger. The longer it is, the more likely, the more dangerous it becomes. No one that understands fasting has ever encouraged anyone to fast at all without experienced guidance. But there's only so much harm that one can do to themselves in 7 days. So 7 days, that's the longest I would ever recommend anyone go. Not because it's a good idea to do that, but because you can't hurt yourself too much, okay? I guarantee you, do a 7-day supervised fast versus a 7-day unsupervised fast and follow the coaching, take the supervision. You're going to get a much, much better result, much better experience in general. And when you fast with me, there's a tremendous education that happens as well. Yes, you can get it for free here on YouTube every day with my videos, 500 plus videos every week in these live broadcasts. But it's not the same as having me attending to you every single day, answering your questions as they arise, helping you put all these pieces together so you have something that actually makes sense. Okay, there's no way to get that without actually having supervision. Water is always level. Okay, you know what? As I said, I don't really care. I don't care. Okay, we're being lied to. Yes, honestly, I don't really want to devolve into a discussion of flat Earth. I'll be honest with you. I don't believe the Earth is flat. I believe we're living on a globe. I don't care what you believe. It's okay with me. You can believe whatever you want. I have seen tons of information. I'm open-minded, but my mind is not so open that my brains have fallen out. Okay, I've seen no real evidence to suggest. The science, I believe, is very clear. I see no reason. What would the benefit of, no, you know what? I don't want to open discussion to this. So let me just say, I'm an intelligent person, but I'm focused on things that I think are far more important. Okay. Are you taking the best care of yourself? Have you gotten your body completely clean and well functioning? Are you hydrated? If not, that might be a better place to put your attention than whether we live on a globe or a flat plane. Okay. But of course you can put your time and energy wherever you want to. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in discussion. And it's not a discussion I'm really willing to have here with you. Okay. Radost Dinkova says, yeah, it sounds very Russian. A raw vegan YouTuber once said that if someone does not have a major health issue, doesn't need to fast, simply eating raw, diverse diet will detox the body. Opinion on that? Yeah, it's complete nonsense. This is obviously someone that has no experience with actual fasting and or fasting correctly and long enough, or very little experience. We've taken probably a dozen raw vegans who'd been 10 years or more eating optimally. And many of whom thought, I'll try this out, but I don't really expect much to happen because I'm already so clean and so healthy. I've already detoxed through my diet. And yet that's never once been the case. Every single one of these people has gone, oh my God, this was amazing, because there's no comparison. You can eat the cleanest diet possible for 20 years, and you're going to accomplish more in 21 days fasting properly than you do in 20 years of eating optimally. Okay, this is someone who doesn't want to fast, whatever it is. There's bias involved, and if nothing else, an inability to distinguish between their belief and what they actually know. There's no one who's ever done a 21-day fast that's going to tell you, oh, you can clean your body out and done it properly. You can clean your body out by simply eating optimally. There's not a single person that's going to say that. I've never had one client who's gone through the process and said, oh, nothing happened because I've already been eating a raw vegan diet. Okay, my body's already clean. Not one. Every single person goes, oh my God, this is amazing. Okay, that's complete nonsense. And it just goes to show, I mean, there are people out there, if you ask me a question I know nothing about, I will tell you, I know nothing about this. Okay, I'm not qualified to answer you. I mean, I can give you an opinion, but I'll say, well, I know nothing about this, but I believe this is what it is. But when someone makes a statement like this is clearly someone who knows nothing about what they're talking about. And it's unfortunate that they weren't willing to say that, because they really don't know what they're talking about. Some people need to look like they're the expert on everything. Most people don't know anything about fasting, okay? Including people that have done it don't know anything about fasting. Certainly this person does not know what they're talking about. Jerry says, I had another question. I've made the mistake of eating too little food, wanting to go all raw, and now I've lost too much weight, strength, and muscle. Should I change my diet to build the muscle again? No, you shouldn't. Every animal in nature builds all the muscle they build by eating the diet that their body was intended for, and always raw, okay? We never need cooked food to build muscle. You never, ever need cooked food. If you've lost a bunch of muscle, it's probably that your body was detoxifying. Maybe you didn't eat enough. That's fine. What you need to do is eat more, okay? Eat the diet that belongs in the human body, and that's fruit and simple green salads. Eat that diet. Do the exercise you need to do. You'll build muscle with no problem, okay? I promise you. If you know if you're doing it correctly, you'll have no trouble whatsoever. There's no reason that we ever need to eat cooked food or animal products in order to build muscle. That's absurd. It's frankly absurd. Now, if you want to build, I'm strong, but let's say I want to be a bodybuilder. I want my arms to be twice the size they are with a tiny frame. In order for that to happen, I'm going to have to eat an unnatural diet, okay? Because that's not something my body wants to create. So in order to force that onto my body, okay, when you see these guys that are big and thick, that's not healthy. It's not healthy. And those people aren't going to live as long as they could, and they're not going to be as healthy as they could down the road. Leaner is healthier, okay? So if you want to create something unnatural, then yes, you need to eat unnaturally. But if you want to create a healthy, lean body, you don't ever need to do that, okay? If you want some coaching, shoot me an email. I can help you. I know exactly how to do that. But, if you need to know what you're doing, let me know. I'll be glad to help you. I know fruits are best. This is Tommy. I know fruits are best, but if you had to rank other foods in terms of worst for your body to not as bad, how would you rank them? That's a difficult, time-consuming question, and I'm just about out of time. I can tell you that dairy products, processed food, processed sugar, processed wheat, maybe wheat at all, any wheat, these are some of the worst things that we can consume. But let me ask you a question. If we had to talk about which body parts were worst to cut off, and then you had to choose, maybe I'll choose some of the not so bad, like I'll just lose half of my finger instead of my whole hand. They're both bad choices, okay? If you love yourself and you want to feel and function as well as possible every day, then eat fruit and simple salads and don't eat anything else, because anything else is going to have a negative impact on your health. You're not going to feel as good. You're not going to function as well. You're going to be creating disease. Disease is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's created over time. You consistently make compromises. You are creating problems for yourself, okay? Don't do that. Unless you want to die young, painfully, why would you go there at all? Okay, to me, it doesn't. I'm sorry, it doesn't make any sense. Hello, Gosha. Nice to see you. You're very welcome. Glad to help any way that I can. Damien says, can you say something about enemas? Is it always a bad idea? It is almost always a bad idea. If you remind me next week, we'll come back to that. Unfortunately, we are out of time. All of you who have joined us more lately and have posted questions more recently, I apologize. I'm not going to get to them, but that's the way it is. All right. So I hope you have a fantastic week. Just a quick reminder, if you're interested in coming to fast, you have an unprecedented opportunity right now. Our prices will continue to go up every year. They need to, because our costs go up. Okay. I still don't take a salary. I hope that changes at some point, but I don't take a salary. I'm not a wealthy man. All the money goes back into this project and the other big project, which is to save the planet as much as we can. And our prices have to go up because our costs are going up. Right now, there's a chance to save 15% by paying in full. What you want to do if you want to take advantage of that is shoot me an email, Loren@tanglewoodwellnesscenter.com. Let me know. I can get you an invoice that you can pay online with any card. Okay, we no longer have access to PayPal. PayPal has closed us down, tying up a lot of money, making life a little difficult. So this is why we're offering this opportunity. It'll help us. You'll have an amazing opportunity to save quite a bit of money. Okay, so with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I've got a lot of things going on here. We open tomorrow with a full house, and it's going to be very busy here for the next 10 weeks. So have a fantastic weekend. Take good care of yourself. Make the best choices you can. Don't make compromises. Find the willpower to keep making the best choices, because it's those consistent choices that have you feeling and functioning amazingly well on an ongoing basis for decades. I've done it. Thousands of my clients have done it. You can do it too. See you next week. Bye-bye.